One morning, Zigung was sweeping the courtyard in front of his house when a visitor suddenly arrived and asked, "Are you a student of Confucius?" Zigung replied, "Yes, I am. How may I help you?" The visitor said, "I've heard that Confucius is a renowned teacher, so you must be an outstanding student of his, right? I would like to ask you a question, may I?" Zigung readily replied, "Sure." The visitor said, "Actually, my question is quite simple. How many seasons are there in a year?" "4 seasons," Zigung answered with a smile. "That's incorrect. There are only 3 seasons in a year," the visitor argued. "4 seasons," Zigung insisted firmly. "3 seasons," the visitor retorted, unwilling to back down. The two argued endlessly, neither willing to give in, and the debate continued for a long time. Hearing the commotion, Confucius came out of the house. Zigung stepped forward and explained the situation, asking Confucius to judge. At first, Confucius did not respond. After observing for a moment, he said, "A year indeed has only 3 seasons." Hearing this, the visitor laughed triumphantly and left. After the visitor was gone, Zigung quickly asked his teacher, "How many seasons are there in a year?" Confucius replied, 4 seasons. Zigung was puzzled. Confucius then explained, "The situation now is different from before. That person was dressed entirely in green, he was clearly like a field grasshopper. Grasshoppers are born in spring and perish in autumn, experiencing only spring, summer, and autumn in their lifetime. How could they have ever seen winter? In their understanding, the concept of winter simply does not exist. Arguing with someone like that, even for 3 days and 3 nights, would never lead to a result." Only then did Zigung suddenly understand. In the fable, the wise sage Confucius effortlessly resolved the dispute between the 3-season person and the 4-season person with his extraordinary wisdom. However, in real human history, the clashes between different traditional cultures have often been brutal. In 213 BCE and 212 BCE, during China's ancient Qin dynasty, legalist scholars advocated that the power to govern the state and military, establish laws and institutions, and define moral and cultural standards should be solely in the hands of the emperor. Meanwhile, some Confucian scholars cited Confucian classics and the words of ancient sages to criticize current affairs. This cultural conflict led Emperor Qin Shi Huang to carry out the infamous burning of books and burying of scholars, suppressing the once thriving intellectual diversity of the 100 schools of thought. As a result, the free academic atmosphere disappeared, and the continuity of Chinese cultural heritage was nearly severed. From 304 to 439 CE, during the Eastern Jin and 16 Kingdoms period, multiple northern nomadic leaders established regimes in the cradle of Chinese civilization, the Central Plains. These visionary and charismatic national heroes led their people on the path of Sinicization, integrating into Chinese civilization. They modeled their governments after Han Chinese dynasties, appointed officials, abolished the chieftain system, and adopted a feudal monarch-subject relationship. They vigorously promoted Confucianism, encouraged agriculture, and achieved significant accomplishments in their rule. However, after these outstanding national leaders passed away, the old tribal alliance system of succession re-emerged. Infighting within the royal families became frequent, and local warlords took advantage of the chaos to rebel. As a result, the power of these dynasties fractured, and their regimes were quickly destroyed by new political forces. The fusion of different traditional cultures cannot be achieved through a single war or within a single generation. It requires a long period of time and multiple generations of adaptation before stability can be attained. The same principle applies to a newly emerging multi-ethnic nation, where citizens come from all over the world with diverse cultural backgrounds. Whether seeking refuge from war or pursuing an ideal way of life, they have come to this new land, forming a new cultural identity. Therefore, they should cherish their hard-earned new life.